Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your host, Adam Cruz, and I have my fantastic co-host right here.
Eddie Nicholas. What up, beautiful people, and welcome to 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan, dwildmusicradio.com. What is up, Mr. Cruz?
Before we jump into anything, let's take a moment and let our listeners and our viewers know that the Freedom Radio Hour is here, not just giving you fantastic music like always, but we're here to be your number one source for music, business news, and trends from around the globe. All right, let's jump right forward. Did you remember a time or two on an episode prior where you had explained that part of the power we need to regain ourselves as artists? Now, if you're an artist, a music enthusiast, a DJ, a producer, these shows are good for you to just kind of debate between you and your community what the best course of action is for the future. So we have to figure out what is the value here. Sometimes you say what we need to do is be at that table where the powers that be, when they decide on how the money's broken up with the money that is earned from music consumption like streaming or physical sales, we, the artists, need to be at that table with our best advocates to make sure that we get our proper due, right? So I was wondering, it always stuck with me, one of your comments, which was, what we need to do is be buying shares in these companies, because you feel like that's ownership.
Ownership.
Right? Yeah.
You know, we need to become more proactive in finding out how we can earn money from the different sources that our music generates. And again, if you're at the table, and you're there to say either yay or nay. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. You have some input. You have some voice.
It's also building influence. Because
exactly.
You have to have that in order to be powerful at that moment and at that table. Let's just say you're building influence over time so that it's valuable for you to be there, right?
And with the mega millions that many of these companies are making, there should be an offer to the artists on the table.
Well, here's something that I think I want you to bite on a little bit. Check this out.
Chew.
Okay.
What am I chewing on?
So there's this company named Royalty Flow.
Royalty Flow. From where?
Okay, what they did is they bought Eminem. You know, the rapper Eminem has been in the news lately because he did a freestyle during the BET Awards, the Black Entertainment Television Award show. And he had like a freestyle a cappella without any beat. And he basically came for our current president.
Yes, Trump face.
Yes, and he basically dropped the mic, so to speak, with everything he said. But it's funny that just after this happens, there's a report that Royalty Flow owns Eminem's catalog from 1993 to 2013. And what they're doing is that they are putting that catalog up on the stock market for you to buy shares in Eminem's catalog. So what you can do is for $2,250 that's 150 shares, or maybe my math is wrong. It basically works out to $15 a share, right? And you can own a portion of Eminem's catalog. So on the surface, you think, okay, I own the catalog. This is the royalties that are being earned. I get a residual from that. The company, Royalty Flow, they want to raise $11 to $25 million. And it'll be valuable for you, the person, if you decide to own stock in about 5 or 10 years. Why so long? Because it's most attractive during a company merger, during acquisitions, transferring of power. That makes it really attractive when you own stock of this nature. It's done in a particular way, but they're saying this might be the future where you'll see.
Well, we also got to recognize that Eminem himself is a brand.
Yes, and he has really the sales prowess. Let's start there.
So you're buying into the brand.
Right.
And in buying into the brand, you become another shareholder in a company.
Exactly. And I think that's really telling, because now I'm like, wow, the power of being able to take your catalog that you create music on and leverage that to
Well,
end
please,
up in the...
look how much Michael Jackson paid for the Beatles catalog
Yes,
and all of that type of
exactly.
stuff. Them catalogs, you can trade that catalog and buy an airplane if you, a private jet if you want to.
But you're so right. But this was attractive to me, this story, because it was different from a private sale. You know, like that Beatles catalog was up for, say, auction or whatever it was. It wasn't on the stock market, because that's like, some feel like that's like a gamble, like taking the
well, it is a gamble when you're talking about investing over $2,200 of your hard-earned money to in who was Royal Flow?
Royalty Flow is the company that owns that catalog.
In other words, I asked that question because if I'm somebody that has that type of money, who are these people?
Right.
You know, in other words, this is my first time hearing that name.
Right.
Now, who are they? How did they get his catalog? How did he end up selling his catalog? Or is this a company?
Well, as best as we can tell, Royalty Flow is a company that buys and sells catalog and assets. Because, you know, catalog is just in music, but catalog could be in other things, you know.
It makes you think, well, how much did Eminem get for selling his catalog?
And then how much does Eminem get as a result of this transaction? It's a very fascinating... I've never heard that before. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of what's occurring in independent music that's making it a problem on the major label side and vice versa. We'll break it all down right here on the Freedom Radio Hour.
91.6 FM.
And DWAPmusicradio.com.
Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
What up, beautiful people, and welcome back to 91.6 FM, DWAPmusicradio.com, Freedom Radio Hour. What up, Mr. Cruz?
Well, I'm so delighted you guys came back with us. Before we broke, we were talking about what's happening with Eminem's sale of his
catalog shares.
But what I wanted to correct was Royalty Flow, the company that owns Eminem's catalog. I said incorrectly that it was from 1993 to 2013. It's actually from 99 to 2013. Either way, you're talking about a good 14 years of earnings where you can capitalize on the value of this catalog. Anyway, moving on, I wanted to really talk about something that we always ponder. Here in house music, we love our house music, and we are very pro independent music avenues. In other words, DIY, do it yourself, finding ways for you to get most of the income when anybody buys your music, if you're an artist or producer or songwriter. So right now there's this interesting thing that's been happening, a trend, if you will. We like to talk about the news here, but we also discuss trends and what's happening. One trend that's been occurring is this sort of ecosystem that happens on the major label side. You see, when we're in house music, we always say, well, if we could get our hand on some major label money, we could take this to the next level, and we break down all of these dreams we have if we were to be tied into a major label engine. Why? Because we have this perception that major label ecosystems are there to give you a lot of money, backing, tour support, merch support, all these things that you just as a person...
In other words, marketing.
Yeah, that you can't really do on your own necessarily. Or if you did it on a sort of smaller basis, and you need the muscle to take it to the next level. That's what a lot of us dream in independent music, like in house music. But there's this thing that we should be aware of, a couple things. One is, we always talk about this, over the years... Initially, the idea of getting tied into a major label, if you were independent, was attractive. But over the years, the companies have consolidated their powers. So what's been happening is that independent music, some argue, are getting sucked into the major label ecosystem that puts the music out in the same avenues that are just through a few avenues.
In other words, distribution.
Yes. So distribution are being funneled through just a few avenues now, where it used to be more widespread. So when you're thinking independent music and you get tied into a major label, more times than not, they want a piece of your action all the way around. Some people talk about 360 deals. That's like the major label taking a piece of everything you're doing. What are you doing? Touring, merch, buying of the music, anything you've got going on, perfumes, shoe brands, they want a piece of all of that. And so artists over time said, oh, we can't do 360s anymore. It used to be attractive because you got a lot of money up front, but they took so much out of that artists realized that wasn't a good avenue.
Because at the end of the year, that fiscal year, when that check came in, where's all my money?
Yeah, and as we all do, we spend through the money that we have. Especially imagine you got a big lump sum. Yes,
TLC.
Yes. Yes, groups like TLC and others. Tony Braxton.
Yeah. and our guys, what's them guys? I just went blank.
Well, either way,
many.
Either artists or movie, film folks, like they all go through this this quagmire of getting a lot of money up front and spending it down too fast or without proper management. So what ends up happening is the independent music that you see a lot at the most powerful levels tend to be fully engined by the major label ecosystem, but they kind of own them now. And so this goes back to kind of the talk we had with Lorenz Tate, the actor who was in town giving a talk. The power of the independent music, because I think what we're doing in our dreams to be on that major label quest, we don't realize how much we have to give and give up.
Well, you're gonna help me out with this one. Take for instance the young man that did the Kit Kat commercial.
Yes, Chance the Rapper.
Chance the Rapper.
Yes.
You find that he became infamous through mixtapes.
Right.
And the social media sites that he was posting his music off, where these majors came to him and invested with the distribution.
Right, but that's precisely the point here. The point is that when you get finally through the distribution, which you need to distribute the music or the merch or the product somewhere, if it's all consolidated by only a few, that means that you're getting less of your dollar back. That means that whether you're messing with a major label or remaining independent, the avenues remain the same. In other words, it used to be that being down with a major label, you got opportunities that you couldn't get being an independent person. But now with the consolidation of power, there's only but a few avenues that are available to either structure, major or independent. So I think this is a really heavy talk, but I wanted to bring it up because if you are an artist and you're writing music and releasing material, you need to realize what happens when you get into this dreams plan of yours to go major if you're doing it independent style. There are many artists that I have to give a shout out to this artist, Dawn Richard, who was part of P. Diddy's Danity Kane one time. She went independent and she is blowing up. She's been #1 on iTunes many times, several albums later, because she found a way, and I really want to get her or her manager on the show. She found a way to really capitalize fully on the independent avenues that existed for her without having to succumb to giving up so much, you know. Anyway, that's all I want to talk about for this particular segment. When we come back, though, I did want to talk about one more question with you, and I know you do this. We in house music love to be able to document our situation, meaning if we go to an event or a party or a function, we often have a photographer, or with everyone's having a smartphone, we're almost our own Steven Spielberg's, or we're our own, whoever you insert, Herb Ritz or someone. So I wonder, though, are we not living in the moment enough because we are putting too much value when capturing the moment? Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about that and more on the Freedom Radio Hour.
91.6 FM is wildmusicradio.com.
Freedom Radio Hour.
And we're back live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan, and on the web at dwildmusicradio.com. You're deep in the zone right here on the Freedom Radio Hour, your #1 source for music business news and trends from around the globe. I'm sitting here with my fantastic partner,
Eddie Nicholas. What up, beautiful people, and welcome back.
Yes. Let's get right into this discussion. So the question again, before we were pondering this, and I wanted to ask you, what do you think of this? When you are out there, Eddie he goes to a lot of different events, and he often captures the events from his phone. He'll either go live on Facebook or social media, or he'll take lots of photos and he'll capture it via video. He may even do an interview on the spot with the person that he comes across. So Eddie has a very specific reason why he's going live or why he's capturing these moments, and it is to become or be this a bit of a documentarian, historian to our independent scene, because it is important to capture the moments that exist for posterity. But because you're doing that, do you think that you are not enjoying the moment in real life HD enough? And number two, if you were not this a creative person like you are, an artist and a promoter and all of these things, do you think that you would go live and capture it as often as you do?
In response to your first part of the question, because I now come from a journalistic background and I write it's important for me to be able to go back, to reflect, to recapture, especially when it comes to me transferring what I have seen visually to a writing proposal of what has occurred. So for me, that's why I copy and I record and I take a lot of pictures, recall.
Do you think you're not enjoying that moment in real time then as
Actually,
much?
I am enjoying the moment because my moment is seeing the reaction of how other people are enjoying the moment. Because if they are enjoying the moment, I'm capturing that very essence of what's going on, and I'm able to record it and put it down for, as you said, prosperity. For people to be able to,
Yes, no, I understand.
You know, for people to be able to go back and to refer to. You know, how often do many of us, you know, especially me, when I think about the Paradise Garage, oh, I was there, but I had nothing.
He's talking about a famous club in New York City that's called the Paradise Garage that really lived in infamy for its wonderful music, its DJ, Larry Levan, and for everyone that was involved in the culture. To this day, that club is talked about very fondly.
You know, and the rarity of the pictures that
existed at that time.
Yeah,
but we didn't have the digital
and we didn't have the
now.
technology
Right,
that we have. So, you know, we can only think back on memories, and then you also have so many people say, well, I was there, I did this, I was there.
Right.
And then you look at their age, and then you think about it and say, give me the proof.
Right. Well, some argue that like clubs like Paradise Garage, if they existed today, would employ a no photography, no video rule. Like if you go to, I believe it's Output here in Brooklyn, New York City, they have a big sign that lets you know very clearly no cell phone use, no capturing of any kind. Do you do you roll your eyes in those moments?
Yes, because what do they have to hide?
Well, it's not about that. It's about
and I know it's about
putting it away and being in the moment.
Putting it away and being in the moment, but sometimes you want to capture those moments. And a lot of times they are very important moments that many of us do not capture for prosperity. You know, when it comes to documenting, especially our scene.
Right, and I have this thing where I'm on the fence about the issue. Personally, I like to capture like a moment of it and then kind of tuck it away. Often because I don't have enough battery power. I'm always lost in power, running almost to empty, or I have little to no space left. So often I'm struggling with space and stuff. So over the time, I just organically have had this little internal rule where I capture it for a few moments and then I kind of put it away.
And
because I realize how fast these things happen. I want to enjoy it. But I do feel like later on, there are often times where somebody comes to an event that I'm fond of. I didn't even know they were there until a picture emerges. So that's helpful. And later on, when we're old and gray and feeble, I would like to see some shots of back and then.
And not only that, it gives people an opportunity who otherwise would have not gone to say, oh, wow, I checked out this function here, blah, 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 blah. I was hearing the music. I saw the people. I want to come.
Well, I'll come next time.
I'll come next time.
I do believe in the tiny degree that is the promotional aspects of it to want you to attend that event in the future. But I do feel like by and large, as a global issue, that we are more interested in capturing than living in the moment. I think in life right now, as a parent of 3 little ones, I can't tell you how many little kid concerts and such where the parents are literally in front
capturing that moment,
blocking view to capture the moment on their iPad or what have you. And after a while, you start going, wait a minute, is it that important for you to capture that moment now to just be in that moment and just take a picture, take a few moments,
and again,
like a few seconds,
and again, you
it.
can still be in that moment, but not invasive of other people's moments.
Yeah.
So I
think that's where some club goers feel.
Where
some
you're
club goers
from.
feel like there's always a camera in their face. There's no longer private moments because it's all like video ready. You know, everything's on video now. You know, so I think it's an interesting discussion because as artists, we want shine in all the events that we attend or that we put together because it helps on the promotional aspects. However, there is a cost. Like we talked about being an independent music, there's a cost to wanting to get down with major labels. If you want to capture the moments at your events, there's a cost. You're not going to be living in the moment as much because you're really concerned with how you're capturing, and that includes: is the lighting right? Can I see the people? Is it audible?
See, I don't worry about none of that.
But you may not. But all of that stuff comes into your head, comes into play. You know. Anyway, that's all the time we have today. We're going to talk about more topics like this because I think as artists and people people that create content for others to share. There has to be a better balance, I think, in terms of living and enjoying the moments that are so fleeting sometimes. Especially when I think about the recent passing of Voodoo Ray.
Fleeting,
I'm
fleeting.
thinking about him.
But the great thing is we have so much left behind from him that we can go back
we can share. You're
and
right.
Share and look at. So that's the importance of capturing.
Well, again, thank you so much for tuning into the Freedom Radio Hour. Leave a comment under everything we're posting at freedomradiohour.com because we'd love to hear from you. Also, download our app for Android and iPhone users. Just search us out on Google Play and within the App Store. Of course, check out my man EddieNicholas.com, yours truly, DJAdamCruz.com for more of our fantastic music. And again, we just love all the comment and thank you for tuning in as always. See you next time. Have a great weekend and a great week ahead. All right?
Up 91.6 FM, DWildMusicRadio.com.
Peace.